Hi, my name is Jay, and this is Hector, and this is our tiny A-frame rental by the river.
And I'm Deek, the guy who designed this cabin. You can check out the plans down below in the description.
First, it was game trails that I used to hike with the dogs, and then Hector built the bridge so I wouldn't have to cross through so much mud to get over here to the side. And then the platform came, and then I saw on Hipcamp the A-frame, and I loved it. It was adorable, and he consented to build it for me, and it's just a fun place to be, and we're happy to share it.
It gives me a good sense of feeling to know that, because I'm not a builder, to know that what I did here for her is actually bringing other people smiles.
Yeah.
And makes her happy, so makes me happy. And the fact that I was able to use a lot of like reclaimed materials. I mean, really 95% of this was built from dumpster wood, you know what I mean? Stuff that was left over on a construction site that some would deem unusable. Budget-wise, honestly, I think it was like out of pocket $200.
Because it's all reclaimed.
We literally had all the material, like 95% of the materials, aside from paint and the long pressure treated 2x6s
For the trim.
For the trim, everything else was here. I mean, we had the deck screws, the nails.
All taken from.
Oh, I'm sorry, and the
Tough Tex.
The Tough Tex had to be purchased also. That's be like next to impossible to find on a roadside somewhere. Even the cedar siding that I used, we had. So all in all, for us, total is about $250 maybe.
I only rented the site previously for $35, so I felt like we shouldn't spend a lot of money.
What is like a tent site before?
Yes, it was just a tent site with the decks, and people like that so much that when I saw this, and my stepdad collects things, he will go behind Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever it is and get all these things and just stack them and stack them and stack them. And when I showed him this, and he said, we actually have everything except for, and then I'm cheap, very cheap, so I needed to know how much he was going to spend, and it had to be not more than what I had made the previous year booking the site for $35 a night. You know what I mean? I thought that was the safest way to
because
go about
originally
it.
It had 4 posts. It was just this deck off these 2 docks, and it had 4 posts, and I was just going to make a pergola.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
what
something
I
to maybe hang curtain or something over the top and keep the sun out. But when she showed me this, I was like, wow, that's like challenging. Really, I fell in love with it. First, she showed me like one video clip and the plans, and I instantly was hooked. And then I started watching some of your videos, and I was like, it's making it look really easy, like, but I know it's going to be a challenge. I think the first thing you should do is not just collect it and say, I'm going to go do this. Like, really think it out. Like, once you get your piles of wood, sort it all out. You know, stack it neat so you preserve its actual shape and form. You know, a lot of times they throw out because they're bent or bowed, and all you have to do is stack them, maybe zip tie them for a little while. They actually get their form back enough so you can build. And once you accumulate your material, then go for it. Don't just jump right on it. I think that's one thing I will say, because I built a couple other things that I've jumped right on and did not have the materials to finish. I would have to go out and look and look and look.
Or spend and
Right.
spend and
That's
spend.
why when this came along, I said, oh, I have everything but this. You know, and the tough text. I was like, seriously. She grilled me. She was like, are you? I was like, yes, look, I have this with the doors and the panels. I have literally, I counted everything off. I had to prove to her that I wasn't going to be going out and constantly, you know, making the trips to Home Depot and stuff.
I could say too, by sorting things out, you can visually see what you have, and it's like a mental inventory of like, all right,
Absolutely.
I remember seeing this. This will fit here. You have it by length and all that.
It was actually this that made me, just prior to this, is what made me start to organize with my father-in-law. So now I have a mental picture of exactly what I have for lumber. If you said, can we do this? I'd tell you, like, probably about 60% of that. You know what I mean? So yeah, organizing is key for any of your materials that you salvage. Like, we have salvage deck screws, nails, everything from construction sites that, you know, the contractor, they won the bid, they paid for all the materials, and they're not going to store it. So they leave it behind or throw it in a dumpster. It's out there. You just have to know where to look and how to be savvy to, you know, what to salvage and what not to salvage.
I love it. As I ask you this question, I see this almost gleam in his eye. He's into it.
Yeah, no,
It
he loves
hit
it.
me. I love it.
My stepfather hides from my mother in the garage just sorting screws. So he actually has like trays, and you can go and get this size. And so I always go in there and get S hooks and things that I need for my little. It's like going in a little
He's
store.
the biggest blessing of them all.
Yeah, truly. If it
and
wasn't for him, we couldn't.
At first, it started with, like, you know, the dunnage off the trucks, and I tell him, like, no, you know what? This is not really what you want to salvage. Things you're looking for, and he got so good at it. It's
Truly.
scary.
You develop an eye for it.
Oh yeah, I mean, he accumulated plywood, pressure treated 2x4s, 2x6s, mostly 8-footers. Unfortunately, the 10-footers and the 12-footers are harder to load into your truck, but you can work with a lot of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
You really can.
We
There's-
waste everywhere, and we can actually go out and get it and use it rather than. Do you know what I mean? We're always throwing stuff away. We should
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Tone it down a bit.
I make my living off
Yeah.
refuse. I dumpster dive. My
Yeah.
daughter and I cruise the streets a couple times a week. And I sell it all.
My eyes
I
are
was
constantly
so happy
open.
when we
Oh,
moved
yeah.
out here because people would just throw away things that, like, I got this for free. I paid $10 for that set over there. Like, I'm in heaven. I love it. And then you also know you're not making more. You know what I mean? You're not adding to the problem. You're at least trying to be a little
Right.
helpful. You know, we still of course.
It's
use things,
amazing.
but
It's treasure hunting too.
it
Yeah,
really is. You
it
get all
really is. One
excited
man's
when you
trash
see
is another
something.
man's treasure.
Did you see the trash down at the corner? The little kids' sand muck? I have to go get that. I'm gonna put my duck.
Someone had a yard sale the other day. There were freebies about a couple miles down. I said to my kids, "Remind me to stop."
Top on the way back.
My
that's
car right now from the other day is filled with boxes from a tag sale that closed because it rained, and they
Oh.
threw away some pretty good stuff.
See?
My daughter and I are picking through everything.
Even clothes, if it doesn't, but the material is good, then I can, you know what I mean? You can do other things. You can make pillows, you can make curtains, you can make masks. So you never know what you're going to find. Fun times. It's exciting, and then you feel super proud that you got all this done, you know?
If you want to rent their cabin, check it out at hipcamp.com, Bellingham, Massachusetts. There are other cabins built from these plans that are for rent too through hipcamp.com. One in Passadumkeag, Maine, built by Kate Wentworth, who did a fantastic job with hers. It just went up as a live rental recently. This was kind of an alteration of the plans, built a little bit smaller, but it has these nice kind of country color touches on a big expanse of land that is all yours when you rent the place. All in all, there's been dozens upon dozens of these built. This is one done by Chris Strathy, aka the Capable Carpenter on YouTube, who has an incredible channel you should subscribe to and check out. This one done by Marco Tovar, who was taking one of my workshops. This is on the West Coast, and this one's way out in Australia. We have videos and all the ones you're seeing here on my RelaxShacks.com channel. So if you dig through there and type in A-frame, transforming A-frame in your searches, you'll find some of those. We also have plans for a half A-frame that's quite a bit bigger Called the half because, well, it's half an A-frame. It's 2 stories, has a sleep loft, and much more living space. RelaxShacks.com has those plans.